they're actually the yeah, like that girl is a prize for see. So you wouldn't know.
Good morning.
The sound.
Hello, everyone.
The sound.
There you go.
Hi.
Same as your other one.
9 pages of people.
See out there studying. Did I write number 2 on the back of your one?
Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Can I ask, good morning, everyone. Can I ask you all to just put your microphones on mute, if you don't mind? And don't worry, we're going to open up the floor to questions. There's a chat box there. This is mad. I'm like, oh, I've done this before. It's so nice to see so many people. Everyone's jumping on. Okay, we're nearly at 260 participants. Amazing. So we have a really fun morning lined up. I don't know if anyone managed to squeeze in that workout this morning, so I'm still a bit red flushed after. Have all weekend to do it. No excuses given lockdown and everything like that. But we're going to start with some hair care chats with Denise, and then we've got Ashing, nutritional chats. Emma is going to chat about skincare, and then we're going to finish with some really nice lattes. Keep the camera on, keep your camera off. It's totally up to you. There's absolutely no pressure. I just want everyone to enjoy this as much as possible. And like, really, the big thing for this is let's just get excited about weddings again. And I know it's so unprecedented, like the times are really, really difficult, and it's so hard to plan, to get excited. You know, I have to say, like this week, being able to vaccinate people was, I honestly just felt like I had that excitement back in me again, because I feel like we've turned a corner now. I know it's going to be slow rolling out vaccines and stuff like that, but we are at the good side of it. I think it's very difficult in hospitals and stuff, especially public hospitals. But I do think, you know, as negative as the news is, as hard as it is, and I'm sure all your families are like, what are you doing about the wedding? Are you going to go with this, or are you going to change dates? What's the story? Just mark on, do your own thing, make your own mind up. You don't have to whatever anyone else says, so it's totally up to you. But I do think we will get there. But yeah, just to try and remain positive. And I really wanted to do something for weddings, because I know, like, I always couldn't wait for the wedding. I couldn't wait for a big day, and yeah, like I just never expected this to happen 6 months before the wedding. So I'm just going to remind you all again to mute your microphones, girls, please, if you can, just so there's not much background noise. And yeah, use the chat box there. Anyone that has questions.
If you can, she'll get the cancellation email as well, so that will prompt her.
Sorry, now I'm going to have to just say Shauna's iPhone.
It's better just to
Can I get you to mute your mics, girls, please? Aoife. We have 300 participants, so it's just while people are chatting. And I'm sure you all have your notebooks and stuff. Oh, I can mute everyone. I didn't even know that. Denise, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Hello.
How are you?
I'm not great with, okay, I think if you click participants, sorry, bear with me, because I'm actually not great with this. So more.
Take your time, Sinead. Yeah, you can mute everybody, but then I don't know if you can have somebody else in on the Zoom like myself, so I'm not too sure about that one actually.
Okay, so mute all. And then I'm just going to go to you, Denise, and just see if I can. I think I had you there. Okay.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay,
so I think you have muted everybody, and then I'm able to unmute myself as far as I know. I think. So I just need to see. Can you see me?
Yes. Everyone okay with sound and lighting?
Hold on for a second. Give me 1 minute. I want to be able to see myself because I want to see what I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
There I am. Okay, I was trying to show you my mad hair, because I was going to come on. So hi everybody, for a start off, how are we? Yeah, I texted Sinead this morning. I was like, I'm going to come on with mad hair because I didn't know what this was going to be like. Questions, answers, rah. So last night I was thinking I'll get my makeup done and I'll have my hair looking all pretty, but I was actually going to do a workout before this and I didn't get time. So fair play to you, Sinead.
Oh, God.
And I kind of thought of something last night that a lot of people are asking, because obviously we're back down in lockdown number 3. The most question, like I always get asked about hair products, but the biggest question that I'm getting asked at the moment is, how do I wash my hair properly?
Okay.
Like, yeah, it's actually the number one reason that a lot of people are having issues with their hair, like oily scalp, flaky scalp, itchiness, tenderness of the scalp. Believe it or not, it's not bad, it's nothing to be ashamed of, but it's generally that the hair is not actually being washed correctly. So I didn't wash my hair and I didn't have it looking all pretty, because after I finish this Zoom, I am actually going to record me washing my hair properly. Okay.
Brilliant.
Prior to that, I do have a lot of information for the brides, because this is what this Zoom meeting is about. And fair play to you, great idea, absolutely. Yeah, brilliant, just a really, really good idea. But I do have quite a lot of points wrote out of how I speak to my brides when they're sitting in front of me. One thing that we say in the salon, actually, when I'm teaching my guys with all customers is we like to treat all of our clients like they were getting married. And that's a really good way of getting me to teach my younger staff, like, to think about our clients' hair. And it's not just important when you're getting married. It's actually important to look after your hair all the time.
Yeah.
But I think it's generally when we're getting married that we kind of go, oh, okay, hold on now, I want really good hair.
Game with everything, like, what is it?
So just so I can actually tie my hair up, because I know it's a little bit mad looking at the moment, I wanted to do one thing and then I'm going to get down to the nitty gritty stuff for you. Okay. The first thing I want to show you is, right, you've washed, I'm going to take off my glasses while I'm doing this. My hair hasn't been washed all week. Okay. And that's okay. Like, that is actually normal. I know one or two people said to me, oh my God, your hair, you haven't washed it and you've been at the gym. My hair is producing natural oils. Natural oil is the one thing, and it's really, sometimes it's the only thing that's going to bring your hair back and revive it. Okay. So the least times that you wash your hair, the better. Now I'm talking about hair like mine and hair like yours. And obviously at the moment you're in a different situation at the moment, because you're working in the hospital. I'm sure you want to get home and just wash everything off straight away. But and then the other people I'd leave out of that bracket is somebody that has very fine hair that gets oily very, very quickly. Okay. So Olaplex. So I'm sure you've all heard of this Olaplex number 6.
Okay, write that down.
Right, 1 second. You have to lock yourself into your bedroom doors to get away from the kids, and I can still hear them at the key trying to get another key to come in. Sorry. I'm like, what are you doing? Okay. So Olaplex number 6, right? This is like one of the best treatments that you will use, but only if you need it. So if you have like fine, normal textured hair, you are not going to actually need this, because this is a bond rebuilder. So this is really good for people like you, Sinead, people like me that have naturally curly, dry, frizzy hair. And I hate to say it, but if your hair is in SH1T condition, this is your go-to. Okay. It's really simple to use. So because my hair is being washed this morning, this is the ideal time to put this in. You don't have to wash your hair and then put this in. You actually need to put this in before you wash your hair. So I've just used a little bit of a water spray. I've dampened my hair down. That's why it looks a little bit crazy. And this is quite thick. So I'm here just trying to get it out. This is so simple. When I'm dealing with my clients in Rustique, I actually go through a step-by-step on how to actually do this. I talk to my clients at the desk on how to wash your hair, how to apply treatment, how to comb it, how to brush it, when to comb it, when to brush it, la, 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 la. Now, once you have the Olaplex put into your hair like this, that's all it's a matter of doing, is scrunching it through. If you had long hair, at this stage, if you had long straight hair, and you can get a tangle teaser through it, because you're not going to get a tangle teaser through this, I would then get like a little tangle teaser and I'd comb all of this through. But I'm just scrunching it in because my hair is curly. And what I'm going to do now is just tie it up.
Okay.
Tie it up and leave it in. Now you can leave this in for like an hour minimum, but you can actually leave it in overnight and sleep on it.
No way. Okay.
Yes. Now remember, that's if your hair needs it. If you are someone that has fine, naturally oily hair, you're not really going to need this. Just think about this: blondes, really dried out, damaged hair. Okay, you want to be using this, and you want to be using this about a year before you get married. Like, you want to think about getting your hair ready and prepped minimum 6 months before your wedding. Minimum.
And when you say, Denise, if your hair is in SHIT, as in how bad? Because I know I haven't got a cut since July and the ends are just really bitty, but...
Yeah. So you're like, every product that you use, none of them, even if they're like made of solid gold, there's nothing going to bring your hair back. If you've split ends in your hair, the only thing that's going to work is this.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Which is what I actually wanted to start with brides, is every bride wants long hair, right? Like 99% of brides want long hair. I don't think I even had a trial. Actually, I'm not going to tell a lie. I never had a trial for my hair. I never had a makeup trial, a hair trial. I had nothing. But Sinead, like, you know me long enough to know I'm very blasé about it. And obviously I have a hair salon and I trusted my staff. And I was like, yeah, whatever. Curly, pin it up, that's grand. But I know from dealing with clients, I'm hairdressing 25 years this year, that it is one of the most important things to you on the day. And let's not forget, your hair is your crown. So why do we forget about it? Why do we leave it so, like, we leave it so late? And it's like, okay, you know, 6 weeks before the wedding, okay, now I need to get treatments in my hair, I need to get this, I need to get... No, you need to start looking after your hair, because you shouldn't rely on a bottle of hairspray to give you shine. You shouldn't rely on the photographer to give you not split ends. You shouldn't rely on the sun shining to give you that lovely glare on the day.
Yeah.
You want your hair to look naturally healthy, shiny, full, everything that it's going to be, without being pushed to it, okay? There's nothing as bad as a hair-sprayed bride on a photograph. The one thing that we don't do when I'm doing photo shoots, and we do quite a lot of photographic work, not just for brides, for competitions, we don't use hairspray. Like, isn't that funny? But yet you will see so many brides getting their hair done and hairspray. We don't use hairspray at all for photography work, because it shows up every little piece of hairspray in a photograph. So what I mean by that is, I've looked at photo albums of brides and I've kind of gone, oh God, I can see it. It looks like it's stuck together with hairspray. So scrap the idea and start thinking about how you can bring the natural shine out of your hair. And you can do that by the very first thing. It's so important. And it's so impossible right now, I get it, but regular trimming of your hair is vital. So as I said a second ago, most brides to be want to let their hair grow long. They want that lovely, long, luscious hair, okay? Yes, okay, there's a question there. What about stray hairs on the day if it's windy? Yeah, that's fine. That's just a little bit of spray. But what I'm talking about is literally caking hairspray onto the hair to make it look like there's shine on the hair, okay? So you want to have regular trims. So even if you're letting your hair grow, you'd still want to have it trimmed. And I mean just like a ½ an inch off it every 10 weeks, and I'll explain that to you. All our hair, will say it's this length, right? Your hair grows approximately 1 inch to 1.5 inches every 6 to 8 weeks. So that's going to bring it down to about here. Now, definitely 80% of people in their heads will go, I'm letting it grow, I'm never going to have a cut. I'm just going to wait until it gets really, really long and then it'll be gone. Right? No. So what happens on about week 8, week 9 is that the split ends start to form down here, and they're tiny, right? But then you don't get that trim, and you wait for, like, say maybe week 12, maybe not even week 12, and then the splits start going up the hair, up the hair, up the hair, up the hair. But if you have that tiny little piece trimmed off in time, you've cut off those split ends that were about to form. So think about it, right? It's grown about 1 inch, 1.5 inches. You're only taking about 1 centimeter off it.
The tiniest bit.
Yeah. And if you do that regularly, like, you will have a brand new head of hair in at least 6 months. Like, no joking, your hair will be so... If you never colored your hair, and if you never blow dried your hair, anything like that at all, if you just regularly trimmed your hair, you would have a brand new hair in 6 months. Like, I'm a massive colorist, as you know. I specialize in color and balayage, long hair, beautiful hair. But I'm telling you this now, I say to all of my clients, a trim over a color any day for healthiness. You need to get rid of those split ends, right? So you think about it, if someone hasn't had their hair trimmed for 6 to maybe 12 months, and then they come back in, I let it grow. Oh my God, I'm so happy with my length. But I hate this much of it because it's all split.
Mm.
There's no product in the world that God is going to fix that. I need to cut that off. So then you've just wasted 6 months of your time letting that grow. Whereas if you've had a little trim, let it grow. A little trim, let it grow. A little trim, let it grow.
And obviously, sorry, Denise, we're in lockdown though at the minute. So how, like, I'd love to take out the kitchen scissors and just a little bit, because I was supposed to go back to you in December, and then there was just so much going on. I wasn't going to risk it.
And before that, you had an appointment even before that, like just the minute we opened, you didn't go down. So,
but anyway, look.
yeah, like, so this is where, okay, like, I'm not going to backtrack on what I'm saying. The split ends are still going to be there, but if you are using good, healthy products, yes, they're going to seal those cuticles a good bit for you, better than using no product, right?
Okay.
So if you're using the likes of the Olaplex, or like, well, I don't have all, I'm not in the salon, so obviously I don't have a lot of stuff to show you, but the Olaplex shampoo and conditioner is another good one. Joico, you know all the brands I talk about. I always talk about products on my Instagram page. If it's a good salon, and I mean a good product from a hair salon, and as I say to my clients, it doesn't have to be from my salon, it can be from any other salon, because I know hair salons only use good products on retail, right?
Your hair always feels amazing when you come out of the hair salon anyway.
You're the perfect example. How long am I doing your hair now?
Like, it must be 4 years, but I remember I went down to Denise. My hair was about that length. I had gotten loads taken off because it was in such bad condition, and literally Denise put me on the right products. It's so, like, I haven't had a cut since July, but my hair is still in really good condition, and I know it's down to the Alpha Part Milano,
So, because we are in a lockdown, you're okay, go on.
No, I just think someone has their thing off down there.
Orla and Louise have theirs turned on.
Okay.
Because we are in a lockdown at the moment, and because you're in a lockdown and you can't get down to me, the difference being is, if I have you sitting in my chair in about 4 weeks time or 6 weeks, whenever we get back opened up, and I have somebody who's not using good quality products in their hair. So I've got you in one seat, and I've got a client who hasn't been using good quality products in another seat. I am 100% going to end up taking off more off the lady beside you who hadn't been using good quality products in her hair. Okay. So it's not going to, like, stop the split ends completely, but it definitely seals the cuticle and stops them from splitting. Yeah. And I'm not just talking about shampoos and conditioners. Like, we're blow drying our hair, we're styling our hair, we're using a lot of thermal things on it. So you need to use a good shampoo and a good conditioner. You need to look at your hair. Like, this is endless. Do you have curly hair, straight hair, fine hair, short hair, long hair, colored hair, not colored hair? So like, I get asked every day, what should I use? What should I use? My answer, and like, sometimes I actually have a copy and paste it. I don't know. Tell me what kind of hair you have. I can't see you.
I know.
And we do such in-depth consultations in Rustique. When we're looking after any client, we do in-depth consultations. So it's very hard sometimes when you are online talking about the hair, because sometimes you need to see the hair, you need to touch the hair, you need to feel the hair. But just think about that. We are on a lockdown. Okay. So even if you can just get yourself a good shampoo and a good mask or Olaplex, that's going to be so beneficial for you when you go back to your stylist when we do reopen. That bleach is not going to be taking 3 and 4 inches off your hair because you've been using crappy products on it and it hasn't helped the situation whatsoever. Does that make sense?
So salon based all the way. So
100%.
Will we list a couple of other...
Yeah, and there's a reason for this, right? Right, I'll show you. We're going to say this is a good product, right? And we're going to say this is a crappy product. Right? Yeah. I'm explaining to you exactly how I explain it to my clients in the salon every day of the week. So this is a good product. This is a bad product, right? Okay. We'll start off with the bad product. The bad product has about that much good product in it. It has that much water in it. And then it has that amount of silicones, parabens, and sulfates and all that kind of carry on, okay? So if you take a bottle of whatever out of the supermarket, for instance, and you shake it, it's so much more watery. And when you're washing your hair, you're like, oh, it takes forever to lather, add a bit of water. No, that doesn't help. I have to
add more
product, right? So this ends up being more expensive in the long run. If you take a good quality product from a salon, okay, it has that much good stuff in it. It will only have a small percentage of water, and like a lot of products, even from the salon, will have either some sulfates or some parabens, but it would be like maybe 1 to 2% in comparison to this one, which will have a big whole chunk of it full of them. Now, what the bad quality products will end up doing is the parabens and sulfates sit on your hair. So even if you have no color in your hair, they tend to weigh the hair down, right? They tend to make the hair very flyaway or very oily or very tacky. So one day you might have that good hair day, and then the next day it might be crap. It's generally all down to the products that you're using. I love it when I hear people saying, oh my God, every second day is a bad hair day for me. It is because you're not using the correct products. Now, and even in saying that, you could go online and buy yourself a good old product of, you know, whatever from a salon. But you could still have a bad hair day because you've picked it out as a non-professional. You mightn't have picked out the correct product for yourself. Okay. So say for me, for instance, I have thick curly hair, right? If I use a shampoo for fine hair, it is going to do sweet nothing for my hair. It will just end up being actually probably still a little bit like, I won't say dirty because that's not the right word to use, but it'll be a little bit weighed down. It won't be strong enough to take all the styling products out of my hair that I've used. Then go the opposite scale. If you have somebody who has fine straight hair and they use a product that I would use, like, so say something that would have double the amount of moisture. So we'll just say, for instance, the Joico Moisture Recovery is quite a heavy product. Now, if I was to give that to somebody that had long, straight, fine hair, right? They already have their sebaceous glands are working overtime, which means they're producing a lot more oil on the scalp than what I am. Now I'm going to slap on a hell lot more of moisturizing shampoo on that. The moisture is going to be deposited onto the scalp. It's going to be washed out. She's going to blow dry her hair and she's going to be like, oh my God, that's oily still. Why is that oily? That shampoo's crap. That shampoo doesn't work at all. It's not that you picked out the wrong product.
Okay.
That makes sense. Products are like, when you're talking about getting the right product, that's why we believe that you need to have nearly like a prescription for a shampoo and a conditioner.
You pay for what you get. It's like anything. Like really and truly, isn't it?
You pay for what you get, but remember, you could still pay big money for a product, and if you haven't had help picking out an advice, you might pick the wrong product. So it's a lucky bag scenario.
Okay. So if you could say anything to the brides now, a general something that would work for them, would we be saying maybe Olaplex just as an odd treatment? Or I know it's very hard with different hair types, but just obviously I'm going to share your Instagram details here. If you don't mind people dropping maybe a little message.
What I do is because I think since the last lockdown, Sinead, you see my page and you know what it's like because you're bombarded with messages. So sometimes when people send me messages, like I might just love heart it because I might have done a Q&A. I generally pick maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks where I do a full Q&A on all products. So I've kind of stopped messaging them privately because you could get 100 to 200 messages. But definitely,
I know, and you're trying to reply to everyone. It's just so hard.
But after this today, and you see then as well as when you get asked a message privately, 5 or 10 other people might have asked the same question. So what I'll do is after we finish today, I will do a Q&A in the next kind of 2 to 3 days. I won't put a tab on it because I'm home with the kids, so I don't want to put a definite, but I will 100% this week. I've saved this week to do it. I will do a Q&A on the right products to use, and I just think that's the best way of doing it because it kind of covers a multitude of people's hair.
Brilliant.
But I would say definitely for now, for all the brides out there, you need to really get help and get advice on getting the right products on your hair. Do not cut it at home. I'm telling you, it is so easy to take too much off. And then if you're getting married this year and you go back to your hairdresser and she's like, I can't put that into that up style anymore. You've cut, because you might cut it and think, oh, that looks about an inch. And then you might just go and it's like 2 or 3 inches. It's not worth it. Honestly. Like, I can give you Franco if you want to lend a Franco for a week, no problem. He'll cut it for you, no problem.
Oh no, I just can't wait to get back down because I just feel like look at the length of this now. I never had hair like that, but I am down for that.
I will be taking a couple of inches off that for you.
Oh, you can take it away. I don't mind. So for like here. Will we just chat very quickly, because I know time and stuff like that, about extensions?
Yeah, we can. Do you know what? I wanted to touch on one other thing for you, if that's okay, because I had a few little notes kept down. The other thing that I get asked quite a lot when a bride is sitting in the chair in front of me, color color on the hair, to color or not to color, okay? There is nothing like your own hair color and to improve the quality of your hair color to produce that shine, right? But, and it's a very big but, there is nothing like, and I swear to God, it's not a push. I want you to think about this. Would you ever see a Victoria's Secret model walking down the catwalk with mousy brown non-colored hair?
No, never.
So anybody who doesn't want that maintenance, they're like, no, I don't want balayage, which is actually a fantastic route for brides, is balayage. But if they didn't even want that, they don't want any kind of bleach in their hair. A really good answer to it is to do like a semi-permanent or like a gloss color, which is even weaker again. Like, think of a gloss color, you know, like putting on a lip gloss on your nude lips.
Yeah, it's the finisher.
Like nowadays, we're out and about, we've got no makeup on, we're just sticking on a bit of gloss.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to color your hair, definitely consider even having a gloss on your hair, because that will automatically make you look like you have something done to your hair, but you can't quite put your finger on it.
Okay, amazing. And we've done that with mine before, haven't we, Janine?
Yeah, lots of times with yours, because we try and keep your own color. Like, I don't like to alter too much. But we have altered Sinead's with extensions before.
Yes, love, obsessed. I miss them so much. Oh.
So with Sinead's, like Sinead down through the years has always wanted to try a little bit blonder. I'm not a fan of someone of Sinead's depth of colour, because no matter how good you are, no matter how good your job you do, when you put that kind of lightening work onto your depth hair, unfortunately, it does tend to dry it out. It just does. There's nothing that you can do to stop that from happening. So what especially 2019 and 2020, had been a massive year for me, is actually adding depths of color and texture to the hair with the Hair Talk extensions. Like, they're amazing. If you were sitting in front of me, Sinead, and you didn't need the top area of your color done, and sometimes you come in and we just barely do your roots, right? And we take the extensions out and we trim your hair and we put the extensions back in again. But you look like you've walked out with a full-on balayage in your hair, right?
And it's not the actual hair, it's the extensions that give. And I think as well, especially up styles, I just love the tones of colours. I think they always are fab for brides. You often, when I'm looking on Pinterest for different ideas, and you do come across the up styles, and those tones of subtle, beautiful.
Like stunning, like without a doubt, it's lovely to create those using colour. But as I said, in Rustique, we are the quality of the hair any day over colour. I have turned down so many people sitting in my chair that have wanted an amazing balayage done, and I've just gone, this is going to not be good for your hair, right? But and then, you know, it ends up being in around the same price. So why would you not opt for extensions and have that balayage effect on your hair? They last for, I'm going to tell you how long they should last, and then Sinead is going to tell you how long she got hers for. So we always advise that you'll get 6 to 12 weeks out of these Hair Talk extensions, and then you come back in and we take them out, cut your hair, like wash it, cut it, blow dry it, style it, put the extensions back in, because we retape the extensions and put them back in, and you get up to 5 goes out of the hair. Sinead comes in and we put the extensions into her hair. Sinead comes in and we put extensions into her hair, and she gets how long out of them, Sinead?
5 or 6 months, like.
Manny, say that again.
About 5 or 6 months. I'm like, it's grand, they're still there. I think because my hair is up a lot in work, but like they just have lasted so well.
You know what it is as well is, right, that this makes a massive difference, is Sinead actually has naturally very curly hair, okay? So you don't tend to get oily hair, like your scalp does not. So what really loosens up Hair Talk is naturally oily hair, unfortunately. Like, they don't suit everybody.
Okay.
If somebody is producing an awful lot of oil in their hair, and I wouldn't mark them out until I get you and I can tell you, no, actually, you don't have oily hair. You're just using the wrong product. So I fix people's hair, and then we've gone on to put in extensions.
Okay.
Sinead has got naturally curly hair, which means it's naturally dry. It doesn't produce the same amount of oil as someone beside you with fine straight hair. Sinead doesn't swim a lot. Now, she works out a lot, so that would go against her, because working out, producing all that sweat, that oil, la 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 la. But yeah, you've just been one of the lucky ones that has got 6 months out of hair. I don't tell my customers that.
I know. I have them hidden in my drawer there for whenever I get to see you next.
And they'll be perfect, and we'll
It will
retake
be perfect. Yeah, that's the thing. You're using the extensions again, which is great. So you feel like you're getting your value for money. And will we answer one or two questions really quick? And then I know I need to let you go, but you're unreal. Like,
You were
amazing.
going. You've got time schedules. I don't mind.
Thank you so much. So let's go back here. Okay. So the number of the Olaplex is 6. Just someone asked there.
Yeah, it is. Sorry, now can you see that? It's number 6, and then the shampoo and the conditioner are 3 and 4.
Shampoo.
No, they're not. I lied. They're 4 and 5. Okay. 1, 2, and 3. That's the Olaplex 1, 2, and 3. We do that in salon. 4 and 5 are the shampoo, and 6 is the treatment. Now, be very careful if you're buying the shampoo and the conditioner online. It definitely does not suit everybody.
Okay. Okay.
So when you're buying this, who it's really good for is, think of people, like if you have that like coarse, like nearly like a horse's tail hair.
Dry.
This is gonna change that for you big time. And I mean, hair goes like that from over processed, from over highlighting. This will fix it, right? Okay. And it's really good for my hair. I don't use it on mine all the time. I use it
the odd time. I think with curly hair, it tends to be that bit drier anyway, doesn't it?
Definitely.
Okay. Sorry now. How long before the wedding should your last cut and colour be? That's a good one.
Definitely not the day before. I would say a week to 10 days will be brilliant. Yeah, I've seen brides getting it done the day before, and do you know what? I haven't seen it for so long. That used to happen years ago, but when we went back, when we got like 4 weeks to work, we had so many brides that rang and said, oh my God, I'm getting married tomorrow. Can I come in? So I stayed back, and some of the lads worked on, and we fitted brides in left, right and centre, and they would have got it done the day before. Now that is hard work because colour will stick to skin. So if you've got someone like me, say, who has got like quite a high forehead and recedes a little bit, you can't help but get colour there, right? And then if you don't colour it, you're going to see little fluffy bits, and if you do colour it, you're going to get a line. And then throw in a bride that's wearing it pulled back off her face. Oh, my nerves were shot that week. Shot. But we done it.
I'm sure they're beautiful all the same, but a week to 10 days. Okay, that's really good. I'm booking now for July. Hi Denise, I want to go back blonde. I get a full head of scattered highlights every few months. Do you think it would be possible to go back blonde and grow my hair for my big day? Oh, that's 2022 bride. So I think
yeah, of course. Why not? Be blonde. If you want to be blonde, but just to make sure that we do it in the correct steps. I'd hate to see you going blonde, boom, and then your hair is totally dried out. Don't do it too quickly. Do it step by step and go on your hairdresser's advice.
Okay.
And loads of treatments. Like when you're doing that, loads of treatments, and don't ever have highlights done in your hair without either Defy Damage or Olaplex or a K-Pack. All of those 3 are like your insurance against your hair drying out, and they're in salon treatments whilst you're having your hair highlighted. Okay.
How many times a week should you use the Olaplex treatment? Would you even use it every week again?
Do you know what? Honestly, I take that out. No, only because my hair is in good condition. I haven't used that in about 4 weeks. But if your hair is in good condition every 2nd, 3rd week to keep the maintenance up on it. If your hair is in the SH1T position, definitely every week, every single week.
Okay. And then thoughts on a 12-week blow dry for frizzy, thick hair. Again, that's probably treatments would help there as well with that if you're finding
12-week blow dry, I don't love it and I don't hate it. Do you remember when I had the little straight bob and the little straight fringe, and I thought it was fabulous looking?
No, that's lovely,
I had to, but like I used to get a day out of the blow dry. It was ridiculous. That used to have a 12-week blow dry in it every 6 weeks. That'll tell you how strong my curl was. And even at that, I'd have it straight going to a function, and it would be gone frizzy the next morning. So like, think of the 12-week blow dry as a super, super luxury treatment, but I only do it on a couple of my clients, and they're the clients that would have that naturally Irish coarse hair that doesn't want to do anything. And I might do one of those a year max.
Okay. Any thoughts on, I know for treatments for different hair and stuff like that, so I'm going to send everyone over to your Instagram to look at highlights. One more thing, vitamins, oh my God, the doorbell's after going, I don't believe it, I have to run downstairs. Vitamins to take to help support healthy hair. I'm going to run and get the doorbell really quick, sorry.
Okay. And you know what, actually I'm going to put this up on my page later on, because there's more than just vitamins to take. there's more than like say the vitamin C's to take. So what I'll do is I'm going to pop this up my page later on, because my husband is home today. He's an acupuncturist and he deals an awful lot with vitamins and la 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 la. There's one in particular, I can't think of the name of it. It's for skin, hair and nails, and I will pop that up my page later on. So what I'll do for Sinead, so there's no uncomfortable silences, I'm going to actually pop on here. Oh, here she's coming back now. Anyway, Sinead's going to go ahead and answer. I just said I'm going to pop that up on my page later on, because there's a couple and I want to get them. I want to get the names of them correct.
Okay, perfect.
I saw someone asking there with really dry damaged hair, is Olaplex 6 enough, or should they be purchasing 4 and 5? If your hair is really damaged, girl, when we go back, you need a haircut and you need to do a good shampoo, good conditioner and a treatment every week. One will definitely not do it. Think about this when you're buying a product, right? When it always comes to like shampoos and conditioners, and not everybody can afford both. And this is exactly what I say to my clients. If you can afford both, all well and good. If you can't, get one and get one the next time you can, because one is good, but 2 is sealing the deal.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, fantastic. I think we'll leave it at that, will we? Could stay chatting all day. We'll have to do this again. But look, we will be in touch. We'll be both online. We'll chat again anyway. I know there's loads of questions still coming in, but unfortunately, time is of the essence. And thank you so much for giving up your time on a Saturday morning.
You're welcome. Don't be silly. What we will do is, I promise everyone, what I will do is, one, when you follow me over, I will do a Q&A this week. The second thing I promise you I'm going to make Sinead do is, we're going to do a hair journey on her hair the minute we get back. I actually have a couple of photographs, a couple of videos of Sinead from a year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Brilliant.
When she gets married, I'm going to put a little story tale together for her.
Yeah, and you can see, like, honestly, game changer, those products.
You're a legend. Well done in getting your vaccinations this week. We're all proud of you. You
fingers crossed now, they just roll out very fast and we'll get everyone.
You're working like a trooper. So
I will jab anyone, no problem. You can come to me, I'll vaccinate you all. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. And it's at Rustic Denise on Instagram.
At Rustic Denise. So I will leave and everybody else is staying on. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm going to take a little picture of you, boomerang of you really quickly. We have 430 brides on. Fantastic. Okay, a little boomerang. Fab. Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye, 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 bye. Thank you. And we have Aisling. Aisling, I'm going to get you on the spotlight here.
I'm on mute. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
You.
I literally was like nodding away, like obviously being peroxide blonde, like I'm like Olaplex. I could be a spokesperson for Olaplex, like genuinely.
No way. And your hair's fab. It looks so good.
No, I do have extensions. I can't now take all the credit for this. Like I do have literally like well, my own hair from using Olaplex. It's just insane. If you can afford it, it's definitely worth the money. Like if someone's on the fence.
That's beautiful. I don't think I've actually ever used it before, but I might buy that treatment one just to have something to be thrown into it now and again, like something to do.
Yeah.
But it's so nice to meet you. You're a bride to me as well.
I know. I'm literally like, I was thinking about this morning. I was like, any 2020 or 2021 brides, we're going to be like a sorority. It's going to be like, you're a COVID bride, me too. Like when we're like 60, like.
Do you know what? Like, I think my heart goes the most out to people who were trying to get married in 2020, have it rearranged again. Like, I think all along I was kind of like, oh, we'll be okay for 2021. And then as it went on, I was like, what the heck? Like, it's
well, we rescheduled. We were meant to get married last May, and then we rescheduled from May to September, then from September to May, and now I'm like, May is in 5 months. Like, and I'm like, we'll talk about it in January. And I'm like, okay, it's actually January. It's really hard. Like,
it's really hard. But the only thing now, maybe I'm just really like blasé about it, or I don't know. I do think when we get a hold of these vaccines, it's happening very fast. I don't know, it depends. It's the travel thing, isn't it? I'm the same as you. I just
because you're in Italy,
America. Yeah, so we've nothing else planned. We're still working towards July, even if it's a small wedding. But it's I don't know how people are going to feel about traveling either, you know. People anyway, look, I think,
you know, we're all in it together. It's just one of those things. It's just so crap. That one thing we won't be worrying about, as I talk about like the minor details, like I no longer care about the flowers. I don't care. Like this time last year, I was worried about getting my shoes. I couldn't find shoes I liked. I'm like, I will wear Nike runners up the aisle. If it means we can get married, like
I know.
Right,
Even
so-
just to be able to get on an airplane, I'm like, oh my God, this is
Yeah.
life. But yeah, like we're all in together, and I think it's so nice to just have the chats with everyone.
Yeah.
Because you feel sorry for yourself some days, and I'm like, Sinead, snap out of it now. People have, but it's a big problem in yourself, and I think you're allowed to feel this is shit. Like you're allowed, because you're trying to plan for something nice, and it's really hard. So I think we should all just allow ourselves to be on an off day.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's chat nutrition.
Yes,
I had a
definitely.
big pizza last night.
Me too, actually got pizza last night as well.
It was so nice, but I'm dying for this. This is
Yeah.
exciting.
So thank you so much for asking me to come on. It was actually like right up my alley as well. For anyone who doesn't know, I'm a nutritionist and I'm trying to be a herbalist as well. So I'm big into like natural medicine, and I have a clinic in Portmarnock. I've been practicing about like nearly 6 years at this stage. But in 2018, when I got engaged, and it was kind of combined with me seeing, like, I see all my clients are between kind of 20 to 40, and I see loads of people for hormone health. That's kind of the main thing that I do. But I see loads of brides, and I kind of was seeing the same thing. People spending a fortune on crap supplements, right? Girls literally like starving themselves. They're coming down with sore throats for their wedding. Their immune system's wrecked. Their hormones are all over the place. Like, brides put so much pressure on themselves. And I bet you anyone got engaged or like come up to wedding, you actually, even if you someone real chill, you do get this bit like, okay, I need to look a certain way, or you do put pressure on yourself. So I also went to the bridal show in the RDS at the time, and the only like bridal kind of nutrition advice was a juice detox, and I just was like, this is insane. So I actually made a supplement box. Now I'm not going to talk about supplement boxes today. You can go onto my Instagram. But I made a 12-week supplement program for brides, and it has 8 supplements. I wrote like a 25-page booklet. Do you remember the crazy snow in 2018? We were all in for like 4 days. I was in, literally had a tiny little apartment, and I sat and I just wrote this booklet out with like everything I'd learned over the past 4 years working with women. And I wanted to focus on your hormones, on your immune system, on obviously skin, hair, nails, like that's kind of part of it. So I have the bridal box. It's just funny when you're like, oh, someone said you're into, I love nutrition, but also I'm so passionate with bridal nutrition, because I don't want, I think like we put so much pressure on yourself, and then it's like the wedding's over, and then what? Like, it's not just for this one day. I think your health is so important long term.
I think so too. Yeah. And it's a different we can take from it. It's that it's a long process as opposed to just.
Exactly. So the way I designed the bridal box, again, go onto my page afterwards and look at it. The first 8 weeks is focused, I call it like the glow. So it's like your skin, your hair, your nails, gut health, which I'm going to talk about in a sec, and kind of getting it from the inside out. So like, you can spend €90 a month on supplements to grow your hair, but if your diet is crap and your gut health's not good, it's not going to do a single thing. Like, supplements can't undo stress in your life, like in terms of like putting stress in the body, and not drinking your water and not eating properly. Like, it can only do so much. So my first half of the box kind of focus on growing your hair, your gut health, hormones, and the second half of the box is 4 weeks before the wedding. Now, this is the first piece of advice I'll give to everybody, and I feel like you won't even realize it will happen until afterwards, because I've seen it take down brides so much. How many of you have woken up on, say, Christmas morning with a sore throat, or gone on holidays and you have a cold, or you have a week off work, dying to be off, and you have chest infection when you're off? Okay, so
it's like your body relaxes.
Exactly. So when we're running from stress, or when we're running on stress, you never get sick. If you're running from a tiger, you're not going to get a sore throat in that process. But it's when you stop, okay? And when you stop, cortisol comes down and you end up getting sick. So weddings are stressful, and I think COVID brides, more than anyone, actually, this is the main thing I actually would urge us to kind of focus on, is mind your immune system. Because I've seen girls come to me, kind of clients booking in because their wedding's in 4 weeks and they have this chronic chest infection, or they're really bad immune, like they're just wrecked from the stress. So definitely the first thing I will say is, like, in the run up to the wedding, sleep is so important. This is what the second half of the box I kind of focus on, is getting good night's sleep. I have B vitamins, like a B complex is really good for energy, and vitamin C. Vitamin C is like the holy grail at the moment, I think, with COVID, but in general, vitamin C, if you're someone even who isn't getting married for 2 years but is getting sick every couple of months like that, when you stop, definitely get your vitamin C. And definitely for you as well, working in the hospital and in the run up to the wedding, like, you've so much stress on you. I'm going to show you a product that I love, and it's so cheap. It's only about €14. This BioCare brand, this is like holy grail. So I was someone years ago who, like, that every time I was off work, I get tonsillitis, or Christmas Day, I just remember always being sick because I'd stop, or laryngitis, and I started using this. This came to me to let you picnic, skiing, any festival. It's like phone, keys, passport, vitamin C powder. It's a powder, right? So it's way more absorbable than taking like Barocca, say, in capsules. And what I get clients to do is put it into like your bottle of water that you're drinking during the day. And it's much more absorbable when you drink vitamin C over like a long period of time, rather than taking like a Barocca in one go and down it that way. So it's just much more absorbable. This is like €14, right? And this lasts for ages, and it's definitely one of my favorite products. That's what I mean.
Where can you get that, Aisling?
Most health shops will have it now. I have an online shop as well, so any products like this is on our online shop if you want to get it from our page.
We'll support you.
Yeah, if you want to support, we can. But like BioCare is like any good health shops. In Holland, Bar normally don't sell it. It's called BioCare vitamin C powder. So I'll do the same. I'll do a little Q&A during the week just for like the brides who are on today, and we can chat.
Fantastic. Someone just said Aisling's advice and products are 100%.
Thank you.
Life changer.
So that is the first thing, is mind your immune system. And again, you don't even think about it. Like, you're always focused on working out and getting your muscles and getting your hair and your facials. And it's only when you actually are like, I'm dead, that you haven't seen it coming. The other thing that I will say as well, it kind of takes down stress brides. My kind of quote that I say to my clients, mouth ulcers is massive for people who are stressed, and cold sores. So again, that's all these kind of things I've thought. Like, again, I literally spent half my year in 2018 thinking about the Bridal box, and I literally call about everything I've seen with clients and put it all into one box. But B vitamins are amazing for mouth ulcers. So like, this is one that's in the box. I have a different brand on my online shop. This isn't one that's on the online shop, but any B complex is really, really good for mouth ulcers, even if you suffers with anxiety. PMT.
I was going to say nervous system, is that a good one?
Yeah,
so that's like
that's your B vitamins. And the kind of catch-22 I think is mad. When we're stressed, our body pees out our B vitamins. So that feeling of like, oh, I have so much to do, I can't do anything, I'm so tired, and like you can't cope properly. Or I say to clients, the Sunday fear. We've all had the Sunday fear. That's like an extreme case of no B vitamins after drinking, I should say. So like that real jittery, anxious feeling, that's when you've no B vitamins. So lack of B vitamins can cause things like your mouth ulcers as well. So I know that's such a common thing I see with clients when they're stressed, is mouth ulcers. Yeah, you can take B vitamins and vitamin C together as well. They're both water soluble, which means you take what you need and you just pee out the rest. So there's no point taking more. Yeah, exactly. There's no point taking more than what it says. You're just going to literally, I would say, like, have expensive pee. Like, you don't need to take more than what's on the box.
Yeah.
But they're the first two things. Mind your immune system, right? Because this is from me looking from the future, telling you that what can go wrong. The second thing is gut health, okay? As less glam as this is, like, I could come on and be like, take these supplements for your shiny hair and for this and this. But you know this, you're just spending money on expensive supplements. You have to go from the basics first. I say, like, the bottom bricks in your house is the most important things, your foundations. And gut health is the most important thing in our whole system. Obviously, bar your heart, your brain, your lungs. I am like, then it is gut health, okay? And when I talk about gut health with clients, people kind of are like, well, I don't suffer bloating and I'm not constipated and I go to the toilet every day, like, my gut is fine. And they don't really think, well, you know, anything of it. But your gut has 3 jobs. One is for digestion. And again, loads of women come to me and they're worried about getting bloating on the wedding day or stuff from IBS and this kind of thing. So we work in kind of gut healing a good few months beforehand. But just general bloating and feeling good, like, that's kind of the first thing with digestion, gut health, and absorption of nutrients. Again, you could be drinking your water and getting your smoothies and getting your salads in, and if you can't absorb the food, it doesn't have the same benefits from it. You look at someone else and like, she's crap, how come she looks so good and I'm here literally force feeding myself, but she might have better gut health than you. Okay.
Unreal.
So,
okay.
We've digestion. The second thing for gut health is for your immune system. So again, it links back up my other point. So 70% of our immune cells line the gut. And that's why I'll always hear people like, they take an antibiotic, okay? And antibiotics don't know, right, who's the good guys and who's the bad guys. They just kill everything. And a common phrase I hear people say after an antibiotic is, yeah, I'm grand, I'm just a bit run down. Like, I'm better, I just feel a bit wrecked, I'm just a bit run down. So you're actually depleting so much of your immune system, and they might even pick up another cold or just be a bit sniffly for months and months afterwards. So your immune system, your digestion, and last is for your mood. There is a massive link between the gut and the brain.
So serotonin, they're saying there's serotonin in the gut?
Yes. So basically our body helps, or gut helps make serotonin. So serotonin is like your happy hormone. And again, I see a lot of clients with anxiety and things like that. And They have loads of antibiotics. The contraceptive pill really depletes gut health. And I like most of my clients don't want to get pregnant before the wedding, so they're all on the pill and they don't realize. So, you know, your bloating might be fine, but you might be feeling really anxious and we're being like, why am I feeling like this? And it could just be down to poor gut health. Okay. So what do we do about it? First thing is food.
I'm like,
you're like, tell me. I'm like, there's no cure. Sorry, no. So the first thing is our food, right? So you have to remember our gut is live bacteria. They need to be fed the same way we need to be fed. And the first tip I give to clients when they come in and they're trying to like get better gut health, I'm like, next time you do your shop, pick up one different food or fruit or vegetables, I should say, that you don't normally have. So if you guys, I think you kind of follow the same routine. You're in Aldi and you're just grabbing the same things, and do you know what I mean? Whereas it's called like gut diversity. So like bananas feed different gut bacteria as asparagus would, or garlic, or broccoli. So that's what I kind of try and do every so often. If you're doing soups, would be great at the moment as well. Like when it's cold and people are doing more soups, so throwing stuff you never normally eat, because it just means that you're again just growing different gut bacteria. It's the best thing for gut health is as much different veg as you can get in. Okay. The second thing are supplements, right? There's a big buzz about probiotic supplements at the moment, and should we take them and should we not take them? My opinion on supplements is you're meant to be able to get probiotics from fermented food, okay? So sauerkraut is fermented cabbage. Kimchi is another type of fermented food. You have your kefir, you have your kombucha. I say these words to clients and they're like, are you speaking French? I don't know what these things are. It's a real Irish. I certainly was not brought up eating sauerkraut. Right? If we lived in Germany, we will be brought up eating sauerkraut. So we're not great at eating fermented foods in Ireland, which means we're not great at repopulating the gut bacteria. So in this sense, I'm like, thank God we have probiotic supplements that we can take instead. So like ideally it will be great if we're all making our own kefir and eating fermented foods every day, but it's just not the way I think in Ireland as society that we thrive. We just don't, not the way we eat like that. I do think supplements can be amazing. There's a brand called Biocult, which is a capsule, which are really good. And I've one in the Bridal box, which I use in my clinic. It's called Murlac. Now you have to get it from practitioners. So you can buy it from our online shop. It's fab. I absolutely love it. It's very like Simprove, which is obviously like the bloggers. It's so big. It is a fraction of the price. Like I love Simprove. I tried it myself, but I don't see enough of a difference between the Murlac and the Simprove.
I tried Simprove, but I actually didn't find. Now maybe I didn't give it enough chance, but I didn't find it great.
Right? It's just so expensive as well. I'm like if someone has IBS and you said this will fix you, they will pay anything.
Of course,
So I think this is me getting a bit political now, but I just think there's other brands you can use which should be just as good. So I love Biocult because it's a capsule. And you don't need to leave it in the fridge. You can throw it into your handbag. It's very handy for traveling like that. If you're going away for your wedding, I would bring probiotics with you just to kind of, because when you're eating and drinking different things, even your tummy feels off after a couple of days.
In the build up to the wedding, then you're kind of having more drinks and you're,
just to make you feel good, because this is the whole thing as well. It's like, you want to look fantastic, but you can look great and feel absolutely rubbish. Like, so I'm so into how you feel on the inside. Like, what are your hormones like? Have you got PMS before your wedding? Like, you want to feel fantastic, and the bonus is you look amazing at the same time. That way it should be the other way around. I actually had our probiotic. Ours is a glass bottle, and I smashed it last night.
That's okay. Don't worry. We'll share it.
You'll see it on if you go on to my Instagram. I've talked about it before. The probiotic, I'll just actually write it down. So we have Biocult is one you can get in shops. I'm just gonna write it in here. Capsules probiotic. And then Murlac is from AOK Nutrition. That's a liquid. So if you're someone who really has IBS and really needs to get sorted, I actually would use the Murlac first, because I just find it absolutely brilliant.
And can we chat a little bit about IBS? Because I know the minute I'm worked up or thinking or worried about something, my stomach just blows up. Like literally, if I'm going into work and there's stuff going on or whatever, it's my stomach telling me. Do
you know what though? That's kind of natural though. Like in a fight or flight situation, what I explain to my clients is your body is either dealing with stress or dealing with digestion. They will never go together. That if you woke up in the middle of the night and your house on fire, the last thing you're thinking about is digesting your food. And what bloating is, I know it sounds so gross, but it's literally rotten food. So there's a difference between IBS from eating and a difference between IBS from being busy. Like I would leave the clinic some days and I'm so bloated because I ate lunch on the go and I was like, okay, next client, and I'm running around like a mad thing, or anxious about something, like that's a normal response. And I think no matter how good your gut is, you're still going to get bloated if you're a little bit stressed. Do you know that way? Now probiotics might help that process, because what they do is they help break down your food. So even if you are bloating like from stress, at least the probiotic might help. So you could try the Miralac again and see if that helps. But it kind of is something, it's one of those things that some people, when they're stressed, it goes we're gone. Sorry.
I'm just gonna mute here.
Thank you. Some people, when they're stressed, they get really bad, sleep issues. Some people get headaches. Some people get bloating. It's just kind of how your body responds to stress. The other thing I want to talk about, because I know losing weight, toning up, getting
I'm just going to mute for a second. Sorry, if I mute you by accident, bear with me 1 second.
I'm unmuted now.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, perfect.
The other thing I want to talk about was I don't like, not necessarily weight loss, but how to eat and get lean, or how to, because I feel like women are going to do it anyway, so might as well give them the good advice on it. Instead of me, I don't want to be like, you need to lose weight for your wedding, because I feel like there's so much pressure on brides.
I think people do it maybe without realizing, because the stress, you're kind of running a bit more on nothing.
Yeah, that's part of it as well. But I think there's nothing wrong with kind of wanting to feel your best, and feeling your best is eating well and this kind of thing, that's fine, but actually starving yourself. So the main thing when you're trying to be healthy, I should say, is to make sure your blood sugar levels are balanced. Okay. Now, if I said to you, do you know what it feels like to be hangry? A lot of people would be like, yes, sign me up, like hangry. So what hangry basically means is your blood sugars have crashed. And when blood sugars crash, your body goes into panic mode. It absolutely hates this. I call this actually primal hunger. That like you could have got up at 8:30 in the morning, done your workout, and you come into the kitchen and you're so hungry and you're like, okay, I've seen something, and you're eating a biscuit making lunch, and you're like, why did I eat that? I didn't even want that. Now I encourage my clients to still eat what they like. I'm like, chocolate is good for your soul. Like you need that to keep you happy, but it's the food they eat when you didn't really want it, when you're like, why did I even eat that? Like I didn't crave that, or I didn't want that. So when blood sugars drop, you get cravings, especially sugar, because your body knows if I eat something sweet, by eating this, it's going to bring back up my blood sugars and I'm going to feel better much quicker. Okay. Now, how do we prevent kind of blood sugar dips? The key is actually eating protein with all of your meals. And this is such a downfall I see people, especially, I think Ireland's a bit different because we kind of real set in our ways in how we eat. So a real typical diet I would see, fruit and porridge in the morning. Now this is when you're trying to be good. I hate that phrase, but trying to be good, you know what I mean? Fruit and porridge in the morning. I might have like an apple and like a Muller light yogurt for like mid-morning snack. Soup could be homemade vegetable soup, or sorry, lunch could be homemade vegetable soup and brown bread. And then by 5 o'clock, they are so hungry that they end up eating 5 biscuits with a cup of tea. And what's wrong with these meals, even though they're so healthy, you're getting your nutrition from them, there's no protein in them. Okay. And protein keeps blood sugar levels stable like this. So what I say to clients is I kind of get them to rethink about how they're making their meals. And I'm like, you need to plan meals the way Irish mammies plan dinners, right? So if you're going to your granny's for dinner or your mum's house for dinner, I guarantee the protein source is always the center of the meal. Do you know what I mean? She will never give you potatoes and carrots with nothing else with it. You having your porridge and berries for breakfast is the same as having potatoes and carrots and nothing else with it. Does that make sense? Or I love vegetable soup. This is actually such a good one. Imagine just having a bowl of vegetables with a side of bread and a glass of water for your dinner, because that's exactly what vegetable soup is. It doesn't fill you up. When you eat carbs on their own, you're like on a roller coaster. You spike and then you crash. So when we're talking about protein, it doesn't have to be loads of meat. Like protein is obviously your meat, your fish, your eggs, your chicken, that kind of thing. But then we have plant-based proteins like nuts and seeds, your hummus, your lentils, your falafels, your chickpeas. So really good tip if you are someone who loves your porridge in the morning, by adding in something like flaxseed or walnuts or a bit of nut butter, a bit of Greek yogurt. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Now you have protein with your food, you know, that way in for breakfast. The yogurts, Muller Light, or kind of all these, like, I don't want to slam like Slimming World, but these low calorie yogurts, if they're marketed as low calorie and fat free, but I'm like, they're also low protein and high in sugar. So you eat them and then you're actually hungry again an hour later. Whereas if you get something like a proper Greek yogurt, do you know, like Janisk protein yogurts or the steer yogurts, Liberty, yeah, proper Greek yogurt, that now has so much protein in it that you'll eat it and you're actually satisfied. You're not going to be looking for something else a little while later. So it's really, really important. So that's definitely the best tip for anyone who just wants to eat healthy, because again, most people's breakfast, lunch and dinner is fine. It's all the snacking in between. You finish your dinner and you're snacking all evening, and it's because your blood sugars have been like this all day long. Some people are too busy to eat during the day. It's only when they sit down they're like, okay, I'm actually starving, and it's a knock-on effect.
So it's important to eat regular as well, as opposed to leaving it.
It depends on, yeah, it kind of depends on the person. Like some people do really well eating 3 main meals a day. But if you're someone who gets hangry, you need to eat little and often. Like even a small little snack, like I might have like a handful of nuts, but like a banana kind of thing. Or even just a handful of nuts to kind of keep me going during the day. Working from home, people are disasters at the moment because they've no set time anymore. Like your pals not coming in at 1 o'clock, like we have for lunch now, you know, that kind of way. Whereas you're working from home and you're like, oh my God, it's 4:30, I haven't had my lunch. And then you come into the kitchen and you're like a hangry monster. You're just eating the most kind of high sugar, high carb, sweetest thing you can get your hands on. So I would say to anyone who's working from home, set yourself regular meal times, put it into your calendar and be like, right, if you know you're always starving by 1 o'clock, start having lunch at 20 to 1 instead. And it just makes even rational your decisions. Like how many people have been planning to have a lovely healthy salad, and by lunchtime like, no, I need the bread, I need this, because your body is craving the carbs. Make sense?
Oh my God, unreal. Fantastic. I'm actually just blown away, and especially the gut health. I actually tried a recipe from the Happy Pear. They kind of do stuff on the gut health as well, and it was actually all veg, but it was really nice as well. So it's just nice to change it up, I think, sometimes.
Yeah, and that's if someone's doing soups as well, because I know soup's so popular, adding in those plant-based proteins, like getting like a tin of chickpeas or kidney beans or mixed beans, whacking them into that. Like I know, again, we weren't brought up eating chickpeas in our house. Like it was meat, veg, potatoes. So it's hard. Like people are like, I don't know what, I had some tin of chickpeas, they're like, I don't know what to do with these. So soups is a really good way. And obviously if you go onto my Instagram after this, you'll see my main thing is hormone health. Like that's what I mainly do with clients. So these plant-based proteins are so important for hormones as well. And again, no one's really eating them. So no wonder so many people kind of suffer with hormones. So it's such a good thing now, like that you don't want to be having, if you're not on any contraceptives, for example, like if you're like, oh, for God's sake, I have my period the week of the wedding, or do you know what I mean? You like, that shouldn't be an issue. I can say to clients, you should get your period. You'd be like, Janie Mac, follow my words, I forgot I was getting that today. It shouldn't be 2 weeks of your boobs being massive and you dying to get your period. Yeah, do you know what I mean? That's like PMT.
Okay, and I suppose especially for women as well, it's a big thing, like hormones.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll all be like jumping onto your Instagram page, because I'm dying to see more on that. So you have highlights and stuff on that, do you?
Yeah.
And stuff. Okay. Brilliant. Okay, will we take 1 or 2 questions, and then I know you're studying as well for exams, so I'm not going to keep you too long. So thank you so much for jumping on.
No problem. So nice to have a chat.
A wealth of knowledge, and I'll be dying to hear about May.
I know. Hopefully.
I'll keep you posted. Okay, so does anyone just want to fire in 1 or 2 questions max, and then we're going to get okay, sorry.
Grooms are the exact same. When I made this actual bridal box, I'll show it to you here. When I made the bridal box,
I'm sorry.
and I want to make it really pretty. Like I want to make it really that you can keep it afterwards.
Oh my God.
When I made it, I was getting questions like, "Are you doing a groom box?" Not much products in that now. But they're the same. Like I definitely get, my fiance is going to be on probiotics and vitamin C and B vitamins, but they're a bit more chill. Like I feel like lads are a bit like, we kind of carry the stress.
Eamon's like, we'll be grand. I'm like,
yeah, they're a bit too positive. I'm like, yeah.
What's your Instagram? AOK Nutrition?
AOK Nutrition, yeah. If you look at my handle at the bottom of the screen, then you'll see my name.
That's Ashling's, Instagram. I'll be sharing everything anyway again. How long should you try probiotic before deciding whether it's working for you? You probably need to give it a while, do you?
At least 30 days. What I'd say is, the last thing I say before I go with the gut health side of things is, it's very similar to what I was saying earlier on about you can't undo a poor diet. So things that deplete gut health, okay, daily medication like being on the pill, or if you're on something like antidepressants or something for thyroid, if you're somebody who takes a lot of painkillers, that kind of thing, that will deplete gut health. The next thing will be antibiotics. If you're someone who's on antibiotics a couple of times per year, that's going to be gut health. Stress, alcohol, and sugar. So you might be taking a probiotic every day. Let's say you take the Murloc every morning, and then you take your contraceptive pill, something like an antidepressant, you're panel off your painkillers, then you're having like 3 cans of Coke that day and a takeaway, and you're up the walls with stress. It's only going to do so much. Like, so at the start, when I see clients for gut health, I'm like trying to address everything as well. Like, it's quite good when you're kind of like starting to try to get on it, you know, that kind of way. So at least 30 days, I would say, but you have to look at everything else. Like, you know what I mean? People it's not magic either. You have to look at everything.
Which BioCult product? I'm on the website now. There's
just the orange one. There's just the main one, just called BioCult. That's the one that I like. Perfect. They're all good though. They're all
Okay, I'll leave your handle here, and everyone needs to go and follow Aisling. She's amazing, and she's also fab, and you're just glowing. I feel like you could get married tomorrow. I'm like, yes, I look like you. But thank you so much for like giving us your time and just being so fab.
Yeah, it was so nice. And yeah, pop off to Instagram. We can have a chat over there. Okay, bye everyone.
Fantastic. Bye, Aisling. Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Bye. Okay, so I'm just going to wait on Emma, and what I'm going to do is just mute here for 2 seconds because I need to run to the bathroom. So if anyone needs a quick bathroom break, let's do it now, and then we'll get chatting with. Sorry, I'm just going to turn off video for 2 seconds here as well. Okay, Emma, are you there?
I am here.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Oh my God.
Nice to see you.
Wealth of knowledge. I was literally like drinking it all up. She's fantastic.
Literally amazing. Like, oh my God. And she looks so good, doesn't she? She looks like someone who really, it's from the inside as well. Like, isn't it? You say that as well with skincare.
I talk about that all of the time. Like, you're not going to nourish the body if you're not going to nourish those cells.
Yeah.
How are you going to glow on the outside?
Yeah, you look unreal as well, by the way. Your skin is fabulous.
God would want to be. I've nothing else to do.
Oh, stop. It's just the bloody masks didn't work. It's just the redness along here, but the Image little exfoliator mask that I'm using, that's really nice to just use that a few times a week. Anyway, we'll get chatting about everything, but I'm just going to wait maybe 1 or 2 more seconds because I had to run to the bathroom there, so just make sure everyone's back. I'm just going to mute everyone again and then just make you on the spotlight, Emma, just 1 second. Bear with me. Emma, what are you on, Emma? Okay, Emma, will you just unmute yourself there because it's not working again.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I think we're good. Okay, so let's get chatting skincare. I have my notebook here. I'm very excited. I'm dying to hear everything anyway, we're always chatting about this, but yeah, so I've been working with Emma the last couple of months, and Emma's had me on amazing products. We started microneedling, which was unreal. Even after the first treatment, I absolutely loved it, and it's obviously just been a nightmare with lockdown and stuff like that, but look, we can do so much from home, and I think that's what we kind of want to look at.
I know it's very frustrating. Like, obviously I'm supporting an awful lot of brides around the country now, and everyone's very frustrated that they can't get in for their treatments, but there actually is a lot we can do at home using our cosmeceutical skincare. So obviously, you know, I would always say, and I always say this to you, have a consultation with someone before you embark on a new routine. So if you've never used cosmeceuticals before, don't just dive in and say, oh yeah, I'm going to get some glycolic acid and retinol and all of these things and just, you know, pop them into the routine without much guidance, because they are very active. We do want a response in the skin. So if we want a positive response, that means they're able to get into the skin. So a negative response can happen as well if it's not done under guidance. So I'd always say that if you are embarking on a new routine. But I suppose really for today, I was kind of thinking about Like if you woke up the morning of your wedding, what is the worst thing that could happen? And it's either a cold sore or a massive breakout.
I know.
Like, I mean, it's just, every bride says that to me. They're like, oh my God, Emma, imagine if I wake up and I have one of these. And you're like, that's never going to happen, because you're going to implement all Aisling's amazing tips first. But, you know, I was really thinking about what can we do that's not about, let's say, changing your entire routine, because there's like 425 brides here. There's probably a few grooms. They're not going to all change their routine to have, you know, 8 new products. That's not going to happen. So how do we get products in to support a routine? So
is there an echo coming there?
Oh yeah, I was just coming back. I could hear.
You're okay.
So I was thinking about, like, obviously now the situation, like you were just after mentioning, you're getting your mastectomy. So that is an ongoing struggle for most people, and a lot of people would have went down the route of getting their salicylic acid in there straight away. But my approach would be a little bit like Aisling's, in the sense that you're feeding the good bacteria on the skin, whereas when you're wearing your mask and you're getting that recirculated air, the pH changes. And that's kind of like what's happening in the gut. That bad bacteria gets to multiply. So what we want to do when someone is suffering from mastectomy is we want to feed the good bacteria there. We want to really make that skin microbiome super, super healthy. So by doing that, we're going to get in some pre and probiotics, exactly like we do for the gut, so that you would be taking them internally, but also applying them topically. So I have a product that I absolutely love and swear by. This is Skin Formula's Clear. This is an absolute little powerhouse of a prebiotic, suitable for absolutely everyone, suitable in pregnancy, breastfeeding, you name it. So it's not super active. But what this actually does is it triggers your own inner growth factors to actually repair and stimulate and regenerate around the breakouts, but also reduces inflammation by feeding that good bacteria. So they win the war against those nasties that are really getting to multiply. So this is something that even like you can use post laser, post waxing, post threading. So it's something I think nearly everyone should have. Like I even use this in my toddler. But this is just a really, really effective treatment product that you can use morning, noon and night. So I've lots of nurses as clients who don't wear makeup at all during the day, and they're wearing Clear under their masks just to help soothe that inflammation. Brilliant for redness, brilliant for regulating oil as well. So if you're someone who's a little bit nervous of like acids and all of these things, like this could slot into absolutely anyone's routine straight away without even a consultation. So I've been trying to think about what's easy for people to access. So that's it from an Irish brand, actually, Skin Formulas. Absolutely. Oh, I see a really good question there about on your back. And this is something that's
that comes up a lot with brides.
I nearly get it every week with my brides. What am I going to do about? And the really key ingredient here is salicylic acid. Okay, so salicylic is a BHA, which is an acid that cleans out the pores. So I'm reading the questions as they come in. Yes, that Skin Formulas can be used when you're on Roaccutane. So if you are on any antibiotic or under any medication, that pre and probiotic is completely safe. Okay, whereas your salicylic wouldn't be as good to be, because it would be too exfoliating. But like this is the image Clear Cell salicylic wash that people think, okay, well, I don't have acne on my face, so why would I have this? But if you have breakouts on the shoulders, breakouts on the back, this is absolutely brilliant to use. You could use this in the shower every day if you wanted to, but you need to support the results as well. Like if you think about, you've got something exfoliating those dead cells around the pore, salicylic comes in and almost behaves like glue. So comes into the pore and kind of loosens up that dirt and grime and those dead cells that have built up in the pore and helps move it out. But if you think about that, if you're using it every day, it might deplete the skin a little bit. So it is really important, if you're using salicylic on the body and on the face, that you're using supportive ingredients, that you're using a really nice body moisturizer as well. Something hydrating as opposed to like super moisturizing, because a lot of those really heavy, like your Body Shop, your shea butters, they're for dry, depleted skin. They're not necessarily for oily skin, and they can actually exacerbate the situation. So this is really, really good to be using.
What's it called? Clear Cell Clarifying Gel.
Clarifying gel cleanser. I can make a list, Sinead, and I can send it on to you of everything I've recommended and if it's safe to use and whatever. It's probably the easiest way to do it. But this is an absolute powerhouse for any sort of breakouts. But just to be careful when you're introducing salicylic, like Image Skincare does active salicylic. This is not like you're going to buy in.
You'll feel it.
Yeah, you're going to feel this, and you've got to listen to the skin. So this might create a little bit of redness. It could create some peeling on the skin. So you have to listen. You have to say, okay, do I back away now? So, you know, our skin, Irish skin, is fragile, it's thin, it's delicate. So just be careful on the face not to overuse something like that.
Okay, but that can be used on the back if you are suffering.
On the shoulders, absolutely brilliant. And you could combine it then with maybe a glycolic cleanser as well, just to aid that turnover of the skin.
Yeah, and get the hydration as well, kind of. Yeah.
Exactly, really brighten it. Like a lot of ladies are saying, like, oh, I have a low cut backless dress, and you know, so it is an issue.
Or even sometimes just in here where you tend to sweat a lot between the boobs, you know, just when you're working out, that area as well can sometimes, you know,
ingest it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, this is a go-to for that. So just thinking about other things that you can do in terms of blemishes, like I have a lot of brides who say, oh, I pick my skin, I can't stop. It's really important that we don't create a like absolute wound that you can see from space on the skin in the lead up to the wedding, because obviously that will scar the skin and create more redness as well, which is very, very hard to bring down. So just little things like your spot treatment, like your Skin Formula's Clear can be used as your spot treatment, but also this is a really beautiful one from Ultraceuticals. And this is AHA, BHA combination. So it's using mandelic acid and salicylic acid. And this is really, really good for drawing out. If you get a spot that just about comes to a head and then it's starting to come out, and this helps to draw everything out, but it also helps to soothe. Like there's an awful lot of things on the high street that help to draw everything out. But it's key that we have supportive ingredients like our antioxidants and hydrators then to actually reduce the inflammation and to make sure that those spots don't reoccur. Okay. And then just to not be picking, because you're driving that bacteria deeper down into the skin. So really lean into your spot treatments and your exfoliators to help draw that congestion out as opposed to actually picking.
Okay, I'm just going to open up one of those questions there because it's relevant, because I know some people are on a budget for skincare, so that's obviously something to bear in mind. Someone said, I always find skincare very expensive and don't see many benefits of Image or Environ. Is there a budget-friendly product that you could recommend?
Yeah, like it is really, really important that you do a skin consultation.
Yeah.
And I have loads and loads of clients who come to me that are on maybe some products from La Roche-Posay, and we can slot in some key treatment products that are going to get results.
Yeah.
And the thing is that like if you just walk in to a salon or you have a facial and somebody is not really assessing what's going on and what your goals are as regards your skin, because that's really important to be able to define what the goals are. If you want to work on anti-aging, if you want to work on pigmentation, what do you see when you look at the skin? So it is really important, and absolutely you can work with budget high street brands, I absolutely love the French brands. Like I really am a huge fan of La Roche-Posay. I really like the CeraVe as well. I just think that for your retinols and your vitamin C's, that you really need to be using products that are able to get into the dermis, and that's the difference between cosmeceuticals.
And I suppose with products as well, I know sometimes you're kind of waiting after a week of using them, we're like, oh, I'm not seeing any difference here. You do have to really be persistent and regular as well. That's what I do find as well.
Yeah,
it's a good 4 weeks before sometimes. But yeah, it's, you know, it is a hard one as well. But as you say, like I had a couple of products that I had at home here, like cleansers, and we just brought in a couple bit more products for those key areas that I wanted to work on as well. So
exactly. And
you're still doing online consultations as well over Zoom. So
yeah,
it might be something that people could look at that way.
it's very busy. I've had really, I'd say in the last 2-3 weeks, I've had over 100 brides get in touch to start their journey. And really what I would say, like in the preparation for your wedding, like routine is really important. And like routine with anything, whether it's going to the gym, with your diet, with your skincare, it is about consistency, but doing things under I don't say supervision, under guidance, somebody who's able to support you. Like it's in my interest that people get results when they come to my clinic. It's not a case of you buy the product and away you go. Like I offer ongoing support, and I just don't think there's enough of that in skincare. The skin is the largest organ in the body. It is transient. It is never ever going to remain the same. Like it's taken the hit both externally and internally. So it's dealing with all of those environmental stressors, but also our own systems. So it is going to change. It's under pressure. And that's where the ongoing support is needed. Like if somebody starts on a routine with Environ or Image or Ultraceuticals or whatever, and they're still on that routine a year later, I failed at my job. Do you know? So it's important that it's like going to the gym and saying, well, week 1 you do certain exercises. Well, a year later you're not going to be doing those same exercises.
Yeah, you're constantly vamping things up and reviewing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So at home, Emma, what would you recommend we can be doing? I know we can chat about products and stuff like that, and I know people are sending in a lot of questions about different areas of their skin, so we can do little recommendations and we'll do a list and stuff. But at home presently, would you take a look at your skin and see what your problem is? And
I think ultimately, if you have a major skin concern, then do your consultation.
Yeah.
If you are somebody who is using a brand and that you're happy with that brand and that you're happy with your skin but want to make some sort of improvements, well, then it's a case of slotting in certain things. So the first thing I would say is dehydration. That is something that is so... like we're so challenged. We basically evaporate at night. We suffer with what's called transepidermal water loss, and it's due to our environment. So we evaporate the water that we take in. And that's why I thought it was so important what Aisling was saying about taking your supplements and eating well, because we want to be able to have omegas, fatty acids in the body that are able to hold on to our hydration. And not everyone has that, but even when you do have that, it doesn't always stay in the skin. So 2 liters of water every day, absolutely. Our brain uses 1 liter of water. Our vital organs take the majority, probably 80% of that 2nd liter, and our skin
is the last.
Only gets 10, 12% of our water intake. So if we're only drinking 1 liter of water a day, we have not hydrated the pathway. So it doesn't matter what ingredients you're on.
Okay.
Those products won't get in there, because those cells need to be actually in a hydrated pathway, that we're able to get ingredients like our retinols and our vitamin C's in there to actually stimulate a response in the cell. So it is really important fundamentally that you hydrate, but you also think about how do we attract water to the skin. And there's like the buzzword is hyaluronic acid, and there's hyaluronic everywhere now. Like every brand seems to have a hyaluronic. So do your research here. Hyaluronic is not a cheap product to make, and it's multi-molecular weight. So if you have a hyaluronic that's probably around €20, it tends to have huge molecules in it. Now, I'm not in any way dissing that, and I'm not saying that that's bad, but it's only going to attract water to the surface of the skin because that molecule is so big, it sits on the surface. Whereas what you want to have is a multi-molecular hyaluronic that is able to have different sizes of molecules, so it can attract water and bring it into the dermis. Those smaller molecules are able to penetrate. And then you'll have your good fats that you've been eating, and they will hold on to that hydration in the skin and release as is needed. And like, that's fundamental. Like if someone says to me, oh, I'm definitely getting Botox for the wedding, and I say to them, well, what's the story? Are you on hyaluronic? Are you on this? Are you on that? And they're like, no, what's that? But like, you could have dehydration lines there that
are easily fixed with good products and water.
Easily fixed with good quality water and a really good quality hyaluronic. So, you know, if you have your, you know, I don't know, a cheaper cleanser that is appropriate for your skin type, get a good hyaluronic into your routine.
Okay.
Good quality, multi-molecular weight. And like a hyaluronic I have here is Hydra from Skin Formulas, €50, multi-molecular, has a little bit of niacinamide in it as well. So fantastic for textural issues and fantastic for actually really holding on to that hydration and smoothing out the texture. So that is really good, affordable hyaluronic acid, €50, whereas the Image ones can be up in the 70, 80, €90 for a hyaluronic.
Okay.
So, you know, that's, I hope that for some people is achievable if you're kind of maybe saving on your sheet masks and that sort of thing, but put your money into a good hyaluronic.
Okay, fair
and
enough.
Remember, hyaluronic has to be used correctly.
Yeah.
You can't put, like, if you're prepping for your wedding and you think, okay, hyaluronic is going to change my life, and like you cleanse and you pop your hyaluronic on, you absolutely need to lock this in with something. This needs to be locked in with an SPF moisturizer or your night cream. Okay.
So would you put that on first, Emma?
Yeah, go on to neat skin, slightly damp, and it'll actually bring those little molecules of water into the skin with it.
Okay, fantastic.
What about the Ordinary brand I see there? Look, I don't work with the Ordinary. I'm not saying in any way that it's bad, but it's a very, very entrance level cosmeceutical. So it's in terms of its efficacy, it's not going to be super performing. Okay, so they're much larger molecules and they're much cheaper. So that's why it would be very expensive if it has multi-molecular molecules. So it'll be fine if you've no skin concern, don't have too much dehydration.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to work on anti-aging, you need a really good quality hyaluronic.
Okay. And skin rolling as well is like a big buzzword. And I suppose we're at home and we're like, what can we do to make everything better here? Like, is that a thing, or what's your thoughts? I know people have different.
I don't recommend home rolling, and the reason being, okay, so you came to me for your Rejuvenate microneedling, so like just the most fantastic device on the market, incredible. And what happens with your microneedling is that the needle goes straight down into, so this is the skin, this is the epidermis, and this is the dermis, and the needle goes straight down. Okay, very controlled, microscopic wound. Okay, tiny little wound creates a little bleed, tiny bleed, and that creates those growth hormones, and we get our type 3 collagen growing in, and then that becomes type 1, and we smoothen out the surface. Great for tightening pores, great for lines and wrinkles, anything to do with texture. But when you home roll, and it depends where your roller comes from. There is a roller that Environ do that I do think is a good roller. It's a little bit more controlled. But if you imagine, like, I home roll my skin and I'm a little bit nervous, so I just go lightly over it. But then you get rougher and rougher and rougher as you gain confidence with it. So what happens with your home roller is that the roller comes in at an angle, okay, because you're rolling over the skin. The roller comes in, and then it moves in the skin, bends, and comes back out. Okay. Now, it didn't get as far down as my microneedling, which was a straight wound, but your roller actually creates a larger surface wound on the skin, which over time can create issues because it impairs your actual barrier. So then you're wide open to get like pigmentation. Now, people completely disagree with me, but I just think that it's an uncontrolled way of really addressing skin issues. And I think you'd probably be better served by having a really good retinol, to be honest.
And retinol then, so again, that's something worth getting a consultation, but it's something that you can build into your routine at home, maybe twice a week.
If you're 6-9 months a year out from your wedding, my God, get on the retinol buzz.
Yeah.
Like, retinol is the ultimate skin normalizer. It is fantastic for any sort of textural issue. It is fantastic for regulating oil. You can use it, like I have a booster here that you can put into your moisturizer, and you can use it on the body as well. You know, so it is fantastic for turning over the skin. So what happens with retinol is that it grows your collagen fibers. So let's say, like somebody said something about pores there. And like if you have a pore that is a little bit larger, and there's lots of things you see on TV, we're like, oh yeah, it'll shrink pores and it'll do this and it'll do that. Nothing will shrink pores unless you're building collagen. So collagen is the ultimate, it's the scaffolding of the skin. So if you have your epidermis, and then you have your dermis, and within your dermis you have your collagen fibers. And as we get a little bit older, and like when we hit 25, we produce 1% less per year. Once we're in our 30s, we're up to nearly 2% a year. But then you have things like we're eating sugar, and we're drinking alcohol, and we have stress, and we have environmental stress. So our collagen is breaking down. So what retinol does is it grows those collagen fibers and makes the dermis really, really strong, which supports the top layer of the skin and pushes up and pushes up and pushes up until all those textural issues that we had on the top, now not everything, but pores begin to tighten because the collagen starts to lie up against the pore wall and tighten it. It's also brilliant for redness, and not enough therapists use it because they think, well, if I use retinol, it's going to make her peel and then it's going to make her red. But if she's able to tolerate it, and we start at lower levels, and we start with a really good delivery system, then we can get it into the skin without any irritation, and it can actually come up to the surface of the skin, lie against the capillary wall, and support somebody who's suffering with rosacea and really high colouring in the skin. So it's like the ultimate.
Okay. And can you use the retinol all over your face?
All over the face. Don't forget the neck. When you're introducing retinol, and please do so under guidance, try and avoid this area first.
Because it's red anyway, doesn't it?
Yeah, and this is where we tend to get irritated very, very easily. So what we want to do with retinol is we want to use low level percentages, like 0.5%, starting out with something that's encapsulated, so something that is in plenty of water. So the cheaper brands, they absolutely are retinol, but they don't have a very effective delivery system. That's why they're cheaper.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that like they don't have some sort of benefits, but like if you're 25, it'll probably be fine. But if you're 33, 34,
you need more.
Onwards, you might need something a little bit more sophisticated.
Okay. One good question. 5 months out for the wedding, no major skin issues. What would be the go-to or something nice to add for the wedding day? And then we're going to talk dark circles. That's coming up the whole time, or the darkness under the eyes. So let's take with that. I would say hyaluronic acid, but I'm not the expert.
Look, will I answer the dark circles first?
Go to the dark circles first, yeah.
The dark circles are impossible. Okay,
they are. They are.
Be very honest with you. So I'm very honest in my treatments. If I can't treat something, I'm just going to tell you straight out. Dark circles are normally hereditary.
Right.
So unfortunately, it's because the skin, so if you imagine out here, your skin could be 3, 4, 5 millimeters in thickness. It's 0.5 around the eye area. So it's very, sorry, Louise, very, very, very difficult because the pigment is right up to the surface. Okay. So what we need to do there is we need to think about how do we distract the color? So it's almost kind of going back to your thinking about your makeup and your primers and thinking about ingredients that can actually illuminate.
Yeah.
So it distracts. So it's actually deflecting light from those areas, or absorbing it, so that it's not actually highlighting the dark circle in the eye. So there is an illuminating range. It's, Eloise, it's not going to change your life, unfortunately. But I definitely would, if you have dark circles, I would think about using an illuminating eye cream. There is a lovely one from Image Illuma.
Yeah, it's a nice one.
Again, it's not actually treating, it's just distracting from it.
Okay.
So yeah, unfortunately, and
I think that's really nice to hear that, because I feel like you can be sold so much to say this will work and this will work, but sometimes it's your skin is the way your skin. Like I have a lot of sunken. I would definitely have that depth there. Just I see sunken eyes, but it's not much.
I think for sunken eyes, look, there's nothing in product wise that is going to help hugely, but I definitely would think about maybe getting yourself a good jade roller and same with the dark circles as well, just in case there is some build-up of toxins in the body and you want to drain those away. So using a jade roller to just work outwards towards the lymph to drain out fluids, that can be really helpful for sunken eyes and dark circles. But again, it's not going to change your life completely.
Yeah.
It may help. But definitely to be using an eye cream and just applying it around the occipital bone as opposed to all over, especially with active cosmeceuticals.
Yeah.
You know, you don't really want them to irritate the eye area. But I hope that helps a little bit. But let's you know, you're 5 months out from your wedding, you've a really lovely routine. I definitely would start doing some mini peels at home. Okay, so like people get really excited about peels, and then some people are like, holy God, what are peels?
Yeah.
And peels that most clinics do, unless they're actually medically led, unless there's a doctor, are fairly superficial. Okay, that doesn't mean that you can't be damaged. Okay, so it depends on the peel that you're getting done and what it's trying to actually achieve, what the concern is. But let's say mini peeling at home, the idea here is to have radiance, to slightly resurface the skin, maybe to clear blemishes as well, and to really get rid of any sort of dullness that is on the skin. So what I would recommend here is this little combination. So we have the Image Ageless Resurfacing Mask, which is glycolic and lactic acid, so AHA. So glycolic is absolutely brilliant. I have this disgusting picture, which I'm going to show you. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is our coarse, dull, dead skin. Okay, so these are the cells, like everything on the surface of the skin is actually dead, but it doesn't mean it's ready to be sloughed off. But after around 30 days, this is why exfoliation is so important. After around 30 days, our cells begin to kind of lift up like this, and they don't slough off because there's lots of glue between those cells, like really making them hang on. So what we want to do is we want to resurface those. We want to slough off things that are ready to be sloughed off so that we can smoothen the appearance of the skin. So this is under a microscope what skin actually looks like.
Yeah.
So we want to be able to slough off those dead cells. And that's what glycolic does. Glycolic, if you imagine this is your skin cell lifting up, the glycolic gets under here, melts the glue, and help slough off that so that we have this gorgeous fresh appearance. And then our lactic acid is amazing for hydration. Like if you're after a glow for your wedding day, lactic acid is so brilliant as an exfoliator because it stimulates your own way of actually your gags, those gag cells that produce and hold on to hydration and really plump the skin. So that has glycolic and lactic acid in it. So let's say you apply this. Now, if you've never used it before, just use it on its own for a minute. And you just pop it onto the skin. There's no scrubbing involved. You pop it on. leave it on for a minute, and then come along with your Vital C enzyme mask. Now, I absolutely love this for Irish skin types because enzymes work like little Pac-Men. They come along and they eat away at the dead cells that are on the surface of the skin. So what this has left behind, this will gobble up. So you pop this on for a minute and then pop this on over it for 2 minutes and just let them work away. Now you will feel some tingling with this.
Yeah.
That's all normal.
What's that one called again, Emma? The
Ageless resurfacing mask.
Okay.
So this is all about brightening, lightening, brilliant for pigmentation.
Yeah.
Really, really good to get that glow, and can be really good for congestion as well. You know, if you get congestion all along the jawline there, really, really fantastic for turning that over. And then your enzymes come along. This is papaya, all fruit extract, smells amazing, and it'll just eat away at anything that has left over here. Okay, from this guy. So this is a fantastic one to do. If you've never done it before, I do it once a month. And if you're somebody who is used to actives, I would do it every 2 weeks, and I would just do 5 minutes of a mini peel. And you're rinsing those off. Yeah, do you rinse after the 2 minutes? So leave this on for a minute, put this on for 2, leave them so it's around 3 minutes, and you take it off with cool face cloth. And just keep going with that cool water until all that activity has subsided. Pop on your hyaluronic because your glycolic has opened up the glue between the cells, and that hyaluronic is going to get straight in there. And then finish it off then with whatever nightly repair cream hydrator that you're using.
Okay. One more question and then we have to wrap it up. Keratosis
Pilaris.
Yeah, I've never heard that myself, but there's a couple of people asking about that.
And again, that's all that rough skin on the back.
Oh, yeah. That's what that is. Yeah, I get that on my
your
legs, parts of my legs.
Yeah, so again, salicylic acid, AHAs and BHAs are your best friend. So you could use a glycolic cleanser. They're actually probably the cleanser from Ultraceuticals would be your best one because it has salicylic and mandelic acid in it. So that's going to help turn over the skin. And again, it's just staying on top of it because it will start to build up. It's just that hardening of the epidermis. So just to make sure that you are consistent on it. Somebody had asked a question about vitamin C, just as regards breakouts, and just to be careful with vitamin C, it can, if it's able to get into the dermis, what it actually does there is it creates more fats in the skin, so it creates a layer of ceramide. So if you are an oily skin type, you can actually start to break out a little bit more from it. So not that you just come off it completely, but maybe cut back if you're using it every night.
Okay, brilliant.
Question pop up there.
Okay, I'm going to leave Emma's details on Instagram. We have to go because I have Sinead waiting as well for Pilates. So if you are on, just hang on for another half an hour. So it's a nice way to end the afternoon, the day. Emma, thank you so much for taking the time to come on and chat. Wealth of knowledge, and always have been since I've known you. And
just to say, I know you want to wrap up. Like the skin consultations, guys, are €40, but if you're buying 2 or more products on the day, the skin consultation is complimentary.
Okay.
So like it's the best hour you could really invest in your skin, because the work that I like to do is based on individuals. It's not so much of the case of, oh, this will work for everyone. So,
everyone is so different. Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. I'll be in touch, and chat to you soon.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye. Okay. I hope you can all stay with me for the last bit of the session. I wanted to wrap it up with just something really nice, because I know there's a lot of stress that comes with weddings and stuff like that. I've never done Pilates, but I know when I get worked up, I tend to get tightness on my neck and it goes down to my back and stuff like that. So anyway, I have Sinead Corcoran here. Hi, Sinead.
Hi, Sinead. How are you?
Nice to meet you at long last.
You too.
I'm so sorry to keep you waiting.
Oh my God, not at all. I've had my notebook out. I've been taking all my notes. So it's been fabulous.
Brilliant.
It's been absolutely fabulous.
Well,
so I have prepared a little class for you. I don't know if everyone has access to a mat or can get down on the floor.
Yeah,
How are
perfect.
we feeling about that? We're not going to do
You
too
want
much.
to
We'll
put
just
in the
do.
group if anyone wants to just say if they're happy enough to go ahead. I have to just get out of the leggings that I have on, and I need to go on another toilet break again because I'm drinking so much water. So I will be 2 minutes, but I would love if people just stayed on to do. It's kind of some nice stretching.
Yeah, we're going to work on just the upper body. So we're going to do a little chest and back and arms for the dress, and then just a little bit of stomach and a little bit of stretching. So yeah,
Brilliant.
just to get feeling good, a good confidence booster little flow that I put together for you.
Fantastic. Okay, so what I'll say is if people just want to change super quick into something comfy, is that okay, Sinead?
Yeah, perfect.
2 seconds and we'll be straight. I'm just going to mute here and I will be back in 2 minutes.
Perfect. If anyone has any questions while Sinead's just getting changed, feel free to fire them over. So we've got one there for any good home stretches for before and after home workouts. So before your workout, it's always really important to warm up. So, you know, jogging on the spot, jumping jacks, that can be a really good thing to do. And then in terms of stretching, it really depends on what you're doing. So for runners, you're more lunges or I'm hearing my own voice coming back at me there. For runners, you're more with lunges, some glute stretches, really bouncing up and down. But the YouTube is a really great resource for, sorry, I don't know why I'm hearing myself. I've got sound coming back at me. YouTube is a really great resource for stretches. And now I'm gone. There I am. Where now will I find the chat box? There we go. There's the chat. A lovely way to finish off Zoom. Yes. Tips to really tone your arms and your back. Yeah, we're going to do some arm and back exercises in the little flow that we're going to do. Have I an Instagram account to follow? I do. It is so my Sinead Corcoran. So I always have, you know, little exercise tips and nutrition tips up on that, and then I have a Pilates Instagram called SC_Pilates Fitness, and I put a live class up there every Monday at 7 o'clock. So Sinead is back with us now.
I'm back. I'm just going to bring this laptop over here just so we can see. I have a little map here. I'm so excited about this.
I'm looking forward.
I think it's a nice way to end it.
Yeah, it's lovely. And I just had there was just a question that came through there about, I will type in the account names just at the end there for you. A question then about how often should you do Pilates? And you can do Pilates every day. You could do 10 minutes of Pilates before you got up, you know, just straight away in the morning, or you could maybe do 2 or 3 longer sessions. If you're doing 2 sessions a week, you're definitely going to start to see results. And it does create like long, lean muscle, and it is a low impact workout. So the days when you're kind of feeling tired and you don't want to bounce around, you don't want to do HIIT, it is a really good workout. And you're still building muscle. It's just a different way of working out. And especially, I don't know, I live in an apartment, so Pilates for me is perfect because I'm still getting a really good workout, still getting, you know, building muscle, long and lean, but I'm not having to bounce up and down, you know, so the neighbours aren't giving out. So it's just a really good, just a different kind of exercise.
Okay, so I'm excited and I am ready. Apologies for the delay there.
That's all right, no problem. We're going to just start on the mat. And because you've all been looking at the screen, we're just going to start with some stretches. So you're just going to have your legs crossed, however feels comfortable to you. Then bring your hands down to the side and then inhale, lift the arm over the head and then just take a side bend. So exhale as you bend over. And then inhale coming up and exhale switching to the other side.
I am the second person in Ireland. Like, I'm so bad for stretching. After workouts or anything like that, I'm just.
I think we're all terrible. I mean, it's so important, but it is just especially at the moment when when we're working and we're at the desk and we're looking at the screen more than ever, it's just so important. So exhale, go as far as you can. You can slide that hand out if you want to go a little further. You can really slide and really stretch up and over. Just take 2 more, so 1 on each side. So slide, inhale, come up, and exhale, sliding over. And back to center. We're going to come up onto all fours. Just want to find a nice position here, so where your elbows and your shoulders are in line, your hips are directly under the knees. And we're going to take a cat-cow. So you inhale, tuck the pelvis towards the belly button, round the spine, and then on the exhale, breathe out and arch the back, letting the chest drop, lifting the head towards the ceiling. So you inhale, round the back, pressing up into those shoulders, and then exhale, opening the heart to the sky. And again, inhale, so the belly is activated here. And the arms are pressing against the floor. So it is a stretch. We are mobilizing the spine, but we are working as well at the same time. And exhale. Couple more here. So we inhale, round the back, nice and high. And then exhale, lifting the chest. 1 more, inhale. And then exhale, coming to that arch, chest to the ceiling, and then back to that flat back position. So we're nice and straight here, all in one line. And then inhale, on the inhale, on this stretch the left arm and the right leg. So you're reaching out, hold, and then exhale, coming in. And switch. Inhale, nice and long, reaching to the opposite sides of the room. And then exhale, lower down. So you want to try and keep the weight here centered between the left leg and the right hand. So we're not shifting the weight too much. And if you find that difficult, you can keep the hand and the foot on the mat. So you don't have to lift them up. There's modifications for every exercise in Pilates.
And Sinead, what are we looking at kind of working at here, or what's the, I suppose
here you're working on your balance. You're going to be toning your bum, you're going to be toning your upper back, your abs are active, your arms are active. So really in Pilates, it's a global workout almost. Every exercise is nearly always working at pretty much the whole body, even if you're focused on something else, because you're really engaging your abs all the time. You're nice and lifted.
And everything brings you back a little bit, just with breathing. You know, we're always running around, and it just makes you kind of stop as well for just even 20 minutes to just focus on breathing again. And
it's, and it's just, I like to think it's just a moment for you to have a bit of mindfulness.
Yeah.
So you're just coming into your body. So on this last one here, I want you to bring the arm down but keep the leg up. And then we're just going to pulse the leg up and down, so we're getting into that glute. So just nice and slow. And the thing with Pilates as well is just really focus on what you're trying to work. So here we're really focused on that muscle in the glute. So it should start to burn fairly quickly here. I don't know about you. It's burning for me already. We're going to go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, lower it down, and then switching out to the other leg, so long along the mat and lift, and then we just take little pulses up and down. Don't let the belly collapse here, so we're supported through the belly, nice and lifted, the bum is squeezed, arms are active, and we lift for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and lower down. I come back, we're going to switch around. We're going to do a little ab sequence. So holding the hands hold behind the thighs, just above the knees. We inhale, and the exhale, you're going to roll back like you're scooping an ice cream. So we scoop, and then keep that curve, and then sit up. So we roll all the way back as far as you can, center, and rolling up. Couple more here. So roll back. So tip that pelvis. So you want to think about your tailbone rolling down. So nice and curved through the spine. Roll. Keeping that curve and then straighten up, finding length through the top of the head. And then exhale, roll down. Release the arms and we hold here and we hold for 8. Relax the shoulders, open the chest. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Straighten up. Let's come back up to that sitting position. We're bringing the hands behind us, the feet are planted, hip width apart. I'm going to lift the bum up. I'm going to take some tricep dips. So nice and slow and controlled. The chest is open, the elbows squeeze back. So we squeeze back and lift. So exhale as you lower. Inhale, pushing up. And exhale. So we're working here the front of the chest, the back of the arms. So we're getting those really nice, long, lean, toned arms. Nice and slow, the bum is squeezed and the abs are engaged. We go for 4, 3. Try and keep the bum lifted, so it's just the arms that are bending. 2, and 1. Sit the bum back, down, and we lower all the way down onto the floor, lifting the arms up into a tabletop position. So this is a very quick little taster of a Pilates class. We're going to inhale, and on the exhale, tap the toes down to the mat. So we're alternating. So we tap and lift and down. So we're really getting into those lower abs here. We're lifted through the pelvic floor. Nice and slow. The legs are stable. And try and make sure the knees are over the hips. That's where you'll feel the lower belly start to work. So inhale as you tap down. And exhale, lift. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. In the center, squeeze the knees together and then just twist the legs, let them fall to the right, and then bring them back to center using the belly. We're honing the waist here. So think about those nice tight waists and center. And we'll go over to the right. And inhale, coming back. And exhale to the left. Inhale, center. We're going to take 4 more. We've got 4. Center. 3. Center. 2. To the center. And 1. Okay. Holding behind the thighs, we're going to roll up. So we're going to roll into sitting. So you're pressing the hands against the thighs, nice and slow, all the way up. I'm going to turn over and I'm going to show you one back exercise. So we're coming down onto our tummies. So you want to inhale, lift the belly so the belly's engaged. On the exhale, lift the chest and shoulders off the floor. Squeeze through those shoulder blades, and then we just lift the arms up. So we lift the arms up to the ears and down. You're just going to take 10 of these. These are really working the upper back. So squeeze through the shoulder blades. Relax the neck. For 7. Inhale as you come up. Exhale as you lower down. And inhale. Exhale, lower. For 5. Really squeeze through those shoulder blades. 4. 3. 2. Then on the last one, keep the hands up. Squeeze the shoulder blades. The elbows are pulling down towards the waist. For 5. 4. 3, 2, and 1. Lower the hands down, lower the head, and then just push back up into your child's pose. So the knees are slightly separated. Relax the hands down, head down through the hands, and take a couple of deep breaths here. Feeling that stretch through the front of the shoulders, through the armpits. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And one last one. Inhale in through the nose and exhaling out through the mouth. And then just walk the hands up. So that was just a little very quick mini taster, very mini, of a little full body Pilates workout. So what you've done there is you've stretched your upper body, we've worked the glutes, we've worked the abs, we've done the arms and the back. So the whole concept of Pilates, you can do 30 minutes and really get a complete full body workout in there. You'll feel nice and long, you'll feel stretched, and you get the kind of added mindfulness, relaxation benefits in there as well.
It's kind of a nice one to do before bed, I think, as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, so that's quite a, we can work quite hard as well. It depends on what.
Yeah, I've seen, like, I've done one briefly before, but it was very hard. I was like, oh my God, this is way too hard.
If anyone wants to take a class, I do run a Pilates, an open live class on a Monday at 9 o'clock. So that's on my Pilates Instagram, which I will write down.
Don't worry, and I will share everyone's handles on my Instagram stories as well.
Yeah, I'll just pop it in here for anyone who wants it.
Yeah.
But
fantastic.
Thanks so much for having me, Sinead.
It was such a lovely few hours. I think it's such a lovely distraction from everything that's gone on and been going on. And I just want to say thanks so much to everyone who joined in, and it was just fab. Yeah, it was just such a good day. So I think what I'll try and do is maybe do something else each week, just especially with lockdown. It's really hard at the weekends to try and keep your mind distracted and stay positive.
Absolutely. I think it's great. I think it's great, you know, to have that kind of community where it's a little bit like we're all in it together, because when we're in lockdown and we're not seeing so many people, you can just feel like you're a little bit in it on your own, but we're all here. So. Yeah,
and everyone's brilliant. I've just seen the messages come in there. I have this recorded, so once I figure out, I can share it again here, but I'll share everyone's handles. And I hope everyone has a lovely weekend, and just try and keep positive. Like, we will get there. It's not going to be like this forever.
Light at the end of the tunnel now.
Yeah,
like, as I said
here.
Yeah, I said it's the final stretch now. Hopefully we'll get through this and we won't be doing it again.
Exactly. So. We just all need to do our bit. But the minute I'm allowed to vaccinate everyone, the public, I'll be like, come on to my
I'll be first in the queue, that's for sure.
But yeah, brilliant. No, it's absolutely fab. And Sinead, it's lovely to meet you, and we'll definitely be jumping on the Zoom ones on a Monday as well.
Absolutely. It's lovely to meet everyone, and thank you so much.
All right, bye everyone. Thanks a million.
Bye.
Bye.